Hi, today I'll share with you all as on how to teach basic concepts like colors or numbers or shapes or other lexical categories to children with autism. To teach all these, we have a special principle called SMINGA. We'll use this teaching method to teach basic concepts to our children. When I say SMINGA, the expansion is S is for sorting, M is for matching, I is for identification, N is for naming, G is for generalization, and A is for abstract. In this video, I'll explain you of these 5 techniques, and then in my following videos, I'll guide you as on how to use these methods to teach varieties of concepts. To start with, I'll tell you what sorting is. The word itself means that sorting means grouping of objects depending upon the type of it. Say for example, when I display 2-3 varieties of objects like this to a child, if a child is able to put all one type of object together and separate the other type of object, that is called sorting. So when we say when we use these techniques, there are different techniques for verbal and non-verbal child, wherein sorting, matching and identification is applicable for all verbal and non-verbal children, whereas naming starts only with the verbal children. So if a child is able to segregate two type of objects like this, that is called sorting. We start teaching children with providing small toys like this and make them sort. We can teach them sorting colors or sorting objects or sorting puzzle pieces from paper toys or blocks, etc. Once sorting is done, then we move on to matching. Whenever I say matching, we have to have a model. We match an object with the model of the same object. For sorting, we need not instruct the child on anything. Say for example, we need not say put say plastic pieces with plastics or coin with coin. We just give them like this and we will say separate or sort. The moment we say, children will be able to sort like this. Whereas when it comes to matching, we will have a model. Say for example, I will keep a model of shapes piece and I will keep a model of coin. And when I give this shape to a child and say match, the child should be able to match it with the shapes. And if I give coin and say match, the child will be able to match it with a coin. When we say matching, it is very important to know that there is always a model for matching, whereas for sorting there is no model. That is the difference between sorting and matching. Another example of matching is when we are introducing common objects to children, you can keep a model of one card for each object, and then you can have 3 or 4 cards displayed at a time. And when you give them a card and say match, if they match it with the bag, that matching is done. When you instruct the child to match, you need not say match bag or match TV. You need not name the object, you can just simply say match, and the child should be able to match with the object. This is called matching. Once matching is done, then we move on to identification. Whenever we say identification, which means the teacher or the therapist or the parent or the instructor should be saying the name, and the child should be able to pick up the object. That is called identification. Like we identify the object through the instruction of name. That's it. So when we say give me shirt, the child should be able to pick and give shirt. The child need not pronounce or say shirt or name shirt. So identification is nothing but we say the name and children pick the card and give. So when we start working on identification, what do we do is you can teach anything, any identification, like identification of common objects or animals or numbers, whatever it is. We display maximum 3 things at a time, and if 3 object is your goal, you will always work only on one object. Say for example, if my goal is to teach TV, shirt and bag, among these 3, I will choose only one. Say for example, if shirt is my first goal, I will say give me shirt. When you say give me shirt, the child might give TV. If the child gives TV, you will not say this is TV. You will just say this is not shirt. That's how we start identification, because we have introduced the word only shirt. The child has no idea of the word about TV or bag. So when we say give me shirt, if the child gives shirt, we will say very good. If the child gives TV, we will say this is not shirt. If the child gives bag, we will say this is not shirt. Again, when the child gives shirt, we will appreciate. So every time when the child gives shirt, when we appreciate, the child will on a longer run understand that this is shirt. If out of my 3 objects, if one object is learnt, then what do? We go about the second object. So if my second object is TV, I will say give me TV. If the child gives shirt, we will say this is shirt, give me TV. We say this because the child already has learned that this is a shirt. So we will say give me shirt, give me TV. If the child gives shirt, we will say this is shirt. If the child gives bag, we will say this is not TV. If the child gives TV, we will say yes. So that this way we will teach 2 and then 3. If the child has learned 3 objects, we will misplace or interchange the places of these objects and again revise. Once the child has learned all 3 objects, then what we will do is we will remove the first object and introduce the fourth object. My fourth object might be, say, mobile phone. So then we will start with TV, bag, mobile phone, shirt. We will mix up with all these 4. If the child has thoroughly learned all these 4, then we can go to the fifth object. Like that, we can gradually increase the number of objects. This is about identification. Once the child is able to identify at least up to 5 objects, and if the child is a verbal child, then we can get into the concept of naming. So when we say naming, we will just ask what is this. That is the step. The instructor will ask what is this, and the child should be able to name the object. That is naming. So naming will always be strictly followed after identification. If the child is not able to identify an object, the child will not be able to name. So there are few kids who will have confusion on names. Say for example, if you ask what is this, they might say this is a computer. Or if you ask what is this, they might say this is a touchpad. Or for this there will be confusion between handbag or purse or bag. If they have that kind of confusions, you will take similar objects and you will teach identification first. If the child is able to identify properly, then we will get into naming. In that way, we can slowly start introducing lexical categories to children. Once naming is also done, then is the concept of generalization. Generalization will not be applicable to all of the lexical categories. Say for example, if you are teaching colors, if you teach that this is red, this is yellow, this is blue, then generalization part comes where the child understands that apple is red or orange, blood is red or any other cherry is red. That concept is called generalization. This can be taught only after naming. And the last concept is abstract. Abstract comes with creativity. We will not be able to teach the concept of abstract to our children. Say for example, if you give a drawing, if you draw a sun and ask the child to color, the child, one can color with yellow, another child will color with orange or red, but nobody will color it with blue or black. So that concept is abstract. It is completely dependent on creativity. So when we teach, we only use these 3 techniques. We only work on matching, identification and naming at therapy centers. Thank you.